And now it's my pleasure to turn the floor over to our first speaker, Richard Robinson.
Thanks, Adam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Johns Hopkins University School of Education webinar series. Tonight's topic will be on the Masters of Education in the Health Profession. And like Adam said, my name is Richard Robinson, and I work in the Admissions Office of the School of Education. And we're going to go through and let our presenters for this evening introduce themselves, and we're going to start with Anne.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Ann Belcher. I'm an associate professor and co-director of the Office of Teaching Excellence in the Johns Hopkins University School of Nursing, and I'm delighted to be with you tonight.
Hello, my name is Bonnie Robinson, and I'm a senior lecturer at the Carey Business School at Johns Hopkins. And again, I'm excited to share my experiences with the program with all of you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Sozio. I'm assistant professor in nephrology at Johns Hopkins. And I was originally an MEHP fellow, like all of you were thinking about, and now I'm actually one of the faculty as well in one of the courses. So thanks for joining us on this call, and hopefully you enjoyed the experience.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tony Ungaretti. I'm the director of the Master of Education in the Health Profession and an assistant professor at Johns Hopkins University in the School of Education.
Thanks, everyone, for introducing themselves. Now we're going to go on to allow our current fellows to introduce themselves, and we're going to start with April.
Hi, everybody. This is April Fitzgerald. I'm here in Baltimore at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. I'm in the Department of Medicine Division of General Internal Medicine, and I'm one of the fellows in the program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tom Caruso. I'm an assistant professor of pediatric anesthesia at Lucile Packard Children's Hospital, Stanford. I also work in the GME as one of our GME faculty fellows, and I'm currently also in the MEHP program. I'm happy to be on this call tonight.
Hi, everyone. This is Marjorie Jenkins. I go by NJ. I'm a professor of medicine and associate dean at Texas Tech University in West Texas. I'm also the Chief Science Officer for a research and education institute, the Laura Bush Institute for Women's Health. And not listed in my titles, but more closely associated with the MEHP program is the fact that I lead the President's Task Force for Sex and Gender Medicine Curriculum program that spans across our institution and Health Sciences Center.
Hi, everyone. My name is Martha Kennedy. I'm a nurse practitioner here at Johns Hopkins in the Department of Surgery. I started off in oncology many, many moons ago before most of you were born, and I'm now working with my MEHP as I work to improve what I provide in the critical care residency program and as education lead for the Department of Surgery. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. This is Eric Nemec. I'm a clinical assistant professor of pharmacy practice at the Western New England University College of Pharmacy. I look forward to answering your questions tonight.
Hey, everyone. This is Roy Stroud. I guess I round off tonight's list of fellows. I am a fellow in the Department of Neurology here at Johns Hopkins. I'm a postdoctoral fellow in neuro-oncology, and so spend half of my time in the clinic seeing and handling neuro-oncology patients, and then work closely with the Department of Neurology clerkship doing clinical education work. And I'm excited to be here and have to answer questions as well.
Well, I have the honor of starting us out in our discussion of the MEHP. And as you can see on the first slide, we want to talk about the rationale and the unique market niche for this wonderful program. First of all, it addresses the healthcare workforce shortages, which certainly are occurring in every discipline that educates individuals for the professions. We deliver a Master of Education tailored to the needs of health professional educators, which is designed and taught by an interprofessional faculty team representing medicine, nursing, public health, business, and education. The program incorporates an evidence-based teaching curriculum and provides its learners with tools and experiences to advance their careers through the development of skills in educational scholarship and leadership.
And Ann, did you just turn it over to me?
I'm sorry, Bonnie?
I'm sorry, did you just turn it over to me?
No, I have 3 more slides. I'm so sorry.
Good, because I just had a computer glitch, so.
Oh, no, I'm,
Continue,
I need to speak a little faster. That's all right.
Okay.
I'm from the South, and I tend to be a little slow. I wanted to mention to our interprofessional partners and resources, of which we're very proud, because the partners reflect the 5 Hopkins schools of medicine, nursing, public health, business, and education, and also include the Institute for Excellence in Education in the School of Medicine, the Faculty Development Program at Bayview, the Simulation Center in the School of Medicine, and the Center for Technology in Education. So some program themes that we want you to reflect on and certainly ask us more about include the fact, as I just said, that we do have an interprofessional faculty team, and you receive interprofessional experience in all of your courses, and we focus on you as teacher. There's a lot of teaming and networking that occurs. You have project development and manuscript creation with the support of the faculty. You develop an educator's portfolio, and you will find that you're among of a community of learners who are focused on education, which is very exciting and very rewarding for all of us. So the educators that we focus on include, but are not limited to, medicine, nursing, public health, dentistry, pharmacy, and other allied health professions. And we've had wonderful students from all of these disciplines, and the variety has certainly enhanced the learning, the collaboration, and the networking. Bonnie, perhaps you're next.
Okay, thank you, Ann. And unfortunately, I did get a computer glitch here. So if somebody could advance my slides once I say next, I would appreciate it. So I want to talk about the characteristics of the MEH graduates. And I think all of our fellows who are on the call can definitely confirm about how this program has really helped them out. The first, what we want to talk about is the excellent educators that really can hone their skills in lecturing and teaching, and the role of education plays in their lives. So we use applied evidence-based strategies and methodologies, and this is very important, and this is because we do have the School of Education involved in the program. And those are covered in the classes, and then you're able to apply those in your particular disciplines in the classroom and in the labs. We have access learner needs and differentiate instruction. And again, this is because we have so many different learners that you will have in your classrooms as well as we have in this program. It really addresses that diversity. We provide an interprofessional focus. And again, we, as you can see from the list of instructors and fellows, we cover a wide range of health professions, from pharmacy to nursing to all types of specialties in the medical profession. And then also you learn how to integrate appropriate technologies into the instruction. And it's been interesting in the past course that I taught that finished in the fall, we had several students who did their projects in the class on the simulation labs. So you can actually use your specialty in many of your reports and to further delve into the areas and methods to convey and teach that information effectively. Could somebody turn to the next slide for me?
I'll do that for you.
Thank you. I always know I can depend on you, Anne.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie.
Characteristics of... Go ahead.
Someone advanced it one more. I'm sorry. Is this the right slide? It looks like that.
This is the correct slide now.
Okay,
no, one forward.
Yeah, characteristics of the program graduates should be the one we're on now.
Yeah.
So productive researchers and scholars. So approach teaching as a scholarly activity to systematically study and advance effective teaching approaches. And again, I think our students and our fellows can attest to this, that we really need to look at not only being subject specialists, but also being able to teach in a very professional way and realize that that's a skill set very important as well. And our students come out of the program with that skill set. Also, to design studies to advance research in health professional education. And so again, they can hone those skills and be able to design studies and even publish on those. And to disseminate findings through scholarly presentations and publications. And I think I kind of covered that in what I just said. So it is very scholarly in its application. Next. So another major component of the program is effective leaders. So the characteristics of our graduates definitely have this leadership skill set and attuned to that part. So we want to be able to mentor others in their institutions and elsewhere. So the students, the fellows, the graduates of this program learn how to do that in a very effective manner. Establish professional development programs. Lead organizational change and innovation to advance education. So we want to be able to instill those skills to be effective leaders to the students, to our department, to the institution, and even as the next one says, to broaden that out to be leaders in the national and international education societies. And this again connects back to being able to publish those articles, even to consider teaching as a serious academic part of the whole program. And to lead multidisciplinary, multi-professional learning and role modeling. And I think in this program too, the participants learn a lot from each other in the way the courses are structured. And this instills that multidisciplinary factor throughout the program. The students come from diverse backgrounds, diverse specialties, but they're also diverse geographical locations. And all of that really leads to being effective in the teaching and the academics, as well as learning how to be good leaders. And there's two particular classes, Leadership 1 and Leadership 2. And so all of the courses together draw on this information as well. And now I'm going to turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Bonnie. So there are several different components for the MEHP program. The first part of the component is the one that's actually primarily leading towards the master's degree. And that's a total of 33 credits that go in towards that master's degree program. Out of those 33 credits, 18 credits are the core courses, and those are the educator effectiveness core. For some individuals, they choose to stop after the 18 credits, and they can get a certificate here from the School of Education in the MEHP program. For those that choose to go on to the master's program, that's an additional 15 credits of specialization, and that can be either through research or through leadership. And I'll go over in the next slide, actually 2 slides from now, what each of those aspects are. One of the other benefits of this program, besides the degree itself, is this is now entirely an online delivery course. And so for those that are busy health professionals, like all of us here, this allows the flexibility to do it on your own time at night and on weekends and whatever other time you have to get the assignments done and get the projects done. The other benefit of this is a degree that's granted by the School of Education. The School of Education was rated as the top school of education by U.S. News and World Report this past year for whatever people put stock in those rankings. So that is one of the benefits as well. We have familiarity with teaching in multiple different settings, and we've used the online delivery to enhance the learning for our fellows, and perhaps some of the fellows, if there's questions about that, can comment at the very end. I mentioned about the core, the MEHP core. That's a total of 18 credits. And the benefits of the core is it really is there to focus on not only the knowledge that we expect you to learn in the Master's in Education program, but also practical skills surrounding becoming an educator. And so the 18 credits are composed of a foundation to innovation adult learning, which goes through the theories behind some of the adult learning principles that we practice. And there's also evidence-based teaching as well. And then we get into instructional design strategies. There's part 1, and then part 2 is later in the 18 credit course. And then educational scholarship design as well. And then curriculum development is a very hands-on approach to teaching and learning how to do a curriculum. And then we learn how to assess and provide feedback for that curriculum through the Ensuring Learning Through Assessment and Feedback course. And then finally, the last 2 courses in the core are the Instructional Strategies 2 and the Educational Scholarship Implementation. So there's both design earlier in the course, and then there's implementation later on. Okay. And then after the 18 credit core, there's 2 different options for specialization. One can either go down the educational research track, or one can do the educational leadership track. In the educational research track, you'll see there's development management and evaluation of health professional programs, and that's similar for the educational leadership track. Those students are all actually in the same group together. And then after that, there's understanding educational research, followed by mixed methods research, and then there's several electives that we offer, including applied statistics, writing grants and contract proposals. And then finally, it finishes off with a capstone project, which you'll do with one of the faculty members in the School of Education. On the leadership track, once again, there's development, management, and evaluation of a health professional program. And then there's 2 different parts in the leadership track there, Leadership 1 and Leadership 2. And then there's several different electives that we offer, including a mentoring elective and a writing grant and contract proposals similar to the educational research track. And then finally, that's finished off with a capstone project at the very end. So again, the curriculum is there to provide the fundamental skills and knowledge that we expect of clinician educators. And it's really providing that, not only that foundation, but also the specialization in research or in leadership. And with that, I'll advance the slide and go ahead and turn it over.
Hi, this is Tony, and I wanted to share with you the academic schedule. We start the program in the summer with an orientation. It's an online orientation, and in that process, you become acquainted with the MEHP and also how to learn online. And that orientation is asynchronous, where you can do it at your own time pace. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks in the month of August. The actual courses will start in the fall. Our sessions are 12-week sessions that run from September to November, and they're for 3 credits each. And then there's a second session that's 6 weeks that runs from the beginning of December to the end of January with a holiday break. In the spring, we again have a 12-week session that runs from the end of January to mid-April, and then a final 6-week session that runs from the end of April to mid-June. This is our annual flow of the program. Once you complete the orientation, subsequent summers are time to work on your projects so that you can actually focus on Ed Scholarship and your capstone. The program, as Steve mentioned, is online delivered, and basically it's designed so that the students in the program can join the program and have a flexible schedule for the program. The program is flexible, however, it is a graduate program, and it does require the amount of time that is required in any graduate course. Any 3-credit graduate course requires approximately 9 hours of work a week, and that's the way the program is planned. We plan the online course so that there's lots of opportunities for discussion, interactions, teamwork, and the sharing of ideas and the opportunity to talk to colleagues. It's important that in this process, you stay committed to the weekly preparation and the flow of the schedule. Though there is flexibility, it is important that you plan to at least check into the course twice a week. The time to completion in the program, if you would take one course at a time, to complete the MEHP takes just under 4 years. If you take two courses at a time, then it takes about, it takes literally under 2 years to finish the MEHP. If you take the certificate, that's about half of the MEHP, so you just cut that time in half. So if you're planning to take the program, you can think of it as taking one course at a time or two courses at a time. And the majority of the students who come in the program take one course at a time because of their busy schedules. But we do have a fairly large number of students, maybe about just under a third, who take two courses at a time. And as Anne previously shared, these are the kinds of students that we have who are part of the MEHP. The students in the MEHP are called fellows, and our fellows are physicians, nurses, public health faculty, professional association officers, dentists, pharmacists, medical technologists, respiratory therapists, and physical therapists. We have an interprofessional faculty teaching an interprofessional group of students. And the program is designed so that faculty often teach in pairs, faculty from two different disciplines within the same course. So not only are we teaching interdisciplinary and interprofessional collaboration, we're actually living it in the program. And now I'll turn it over to Richard.
Thanks, Tony. Hello again, everyone. My name is Richard Robinson from the admissions office. I'll be going over some basic information about admission, tuition, and also information about the financial aid portion of this program. So I first want to cover that the application deadline for this program is April 1st, and we ask that you have all supporting documents for admissions to our office by April 1st. Okay, so the basic admissions requirements for this program is that you must have a 3.0 or better cumulative GPA, along with submitting your online application and paying an $80 application fee. Once you submit your online application, you will receive a confirmation email, which will give you access to our ISIS system, which is an online portal where we allow students to go in and view their admissions decisions. Also, they are able to upload their supporting documents like your essay and your resume. We also require that you submit all post-secondary institution official transcripts that you've attended, along with an essay or a personal statement. Your essay, the requirement for that is that you must have at least 500 words that describe why you wish to join our program here at Hopkins, and also how your educational and professional background make you a suitable candidate for our program. And also you must submit a resume or your CV along with 2 letters of recommendation. The recommendations can be from a previous professor, it can be from a manager, someone who can speak on your ability to be in our program and also work your full-time employment. Okay, now we're going to talk more about international applications. So for international students, you have a little extra to do. You must submit passing TOEFL scores, or you must request a TOEFL waiver request form, which you can get from the admissions office. Also, we ask that for any courses taken outside of the United States, that you obtain a course-by-course evaluation. For more information about a course-by-course evaluation, you can click on the link that is provided on the screen right now, or you can also contact the admissions office. And at the end of the webinar, I'll be giving you the information for contacting the admissions office. Tuition for the MEHP program is $1,200 per credit. And for anyone who is a Johns Hopkins University or a Johns Hopkins Hospital or health system employee, the credit hour is $700. The financial aid office asks that once you submit your application for admissions, that you also submit an application for financial aid if you are looking to receive any type of grant or scholarship. So once you submit your application, like I said, you'll receive the confirmation email, and in that email, it'll give you the information needed for applying for financial aid. And we just ask that you do that as you submit your application, so that once the program begins, you're not still stuck behind trying to register for financial aid, and that holds you up. Okay, I'm going to pass it back over to Tony, I believe.
What is very important to us in the MEHP is that we stay focused on our mission. We are preparing the leaders and the change agents who will globally transform education in the health profession. And everything that we do is designed to move in that direction. And to share with you the experiences of those in the program, I'm going to now introduce you to our fellows again and let them tell you a little bit about what they do. Before I have them speak, however, I wanted to share a quote with you. This is from Edsel Ng, who is one of our fellows, and he wanted to share this even though he couldn't be with us tonight, so we promised we'd share it. He said, the MEHP has been a wonderfully useful and practical course. He's learned much from the great dialogue with the teachers and fellow classmates. He says that in just a few short months, his teaching interactions have improved, and he's been able to continue working full-time and complete his coursework on weekends and evenings. He finds the instructors are knowledgeable and helpful and do their utmost to accommodate the varied schedules of busy physicians and healthcare workers. So we were delighted to share that with you tonight. And now I'm going to ask each of the fellows to introduce themselves again and to give you a little bit of the experience that they've had. And after they share that, then we will give you an opportunity to ask questions. So we'll begin with April.
Hi, everybody. This is April again, and I just like to, say that I agree with everything that was in the quote from Edsel. That's all true. The MEHP program has quite a few benefits, but some of the important ones for me was one, it really gave me a language to use when I'm speaking with other educators, so that we understand each other better. And then I've really enjoyed the opportunity to learn from health professionals who are in disciplines that are outside my particular field. And I just say third that it's really made me a better academic physician. It's advanced my ability to produce scholarship, which is what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm here at Hopkins. Tom, you're next.
Hi, it's Tom again. I just want to make sure April was finished. I didn't want to cut her off. To understand how awesome the MEHP program has been for me, I have to give a brief background as to what I've been doing here at Lucile Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford. One of my roles is not just providing anesthesia, but also implementing quality improvement work within the perioperative world. And when I took on this job, this administrative role, if you will, a lot of people did not understand how an educational degree went with a quality improvement. But actually, it turns out that almost everything I do on a day-to-day basis is dependent upon teaching nurses, physicians, and other healthcare providers how and why they should be doing something. So what I learn in this program helps me be extremely effective in that role. So much so that I am now sitting on some executive boards and within some high-level meetings that I would never seen myself being in at this age of and this stage of my career. And it's really because I've been so effective, and I can attribute it to this. In addition, since starting the program, the Stanford Department of Graduate Medical Education approached me somewhat out of the blue because I have a little bit of background in mentorship and mentoring, and I've been giving some lectures around the hospital on mentorship, and they liked what I had to say and actually hired me, bought out some of my time. So instead of providing anesthesia, I also work for the GME now, and this happened after I started the program. And they were very intrigued by how I was able to use the resources in the MEHP program to put together a very nice mentoring program for the Stanford GME to be rolled out to trainees across the whole institution. And that project has turned into my capstone. So it's been really nice to do projects with the MEHP that are directly applicable to my day-to-day work. MJ, I'll pass it to you.
Okay, hi everyone. I will second what April and Tom have said and just say that when I think about the MEHP program, I'm a chemical engineer first, and then secondly, academic medicine. So this program was very challenging, and it made me flex different muscles than medicine, and it was very nurturing. So I find our faculty to be very understanding, but yet they challenge you. And it's helped me to promote my projects with leaders of the institution and with my peers and learners, especially this massive cross-institution curricular project that the president has initiated. And it's helped me to have feedback and peer review from our classmates. We do peer review and online conversations and discussions with our peers weekly, daily, depending on the topic, and we get some very good constructive criticism of our projects, which helps us to fine-tune them in our own institution. I realized what type of educator I was earlier in my career. I'm probably one of the more advanced MEHP students. And I realized what type of educator I want to mentor others to be and what I don't want to be. So, but above all of that, outside of our institution, this program really gives you an opportunity to become a member of a national and international network of medical educators. And I have used that several times to engage my MEHP classmates in projects that I'm working on, and it's just been an amazing amount of talent to be able to engage, and in fact, emailing other MEHP program directors to ask questions. You're just part of that family, that MEHP family, and just I guess I'll stop there. I'm out of time.
Thanks, MJ.
Thank
This
you.
is Martha. So I'm 30 years a nurse and 12 a nurse practitioner, and probably 5 years of doing a lot of work focusing on education, 5 or 8 years. And I decided to do this after I realized that despite all those years of practice and schooling, I was stale and had forgotten more than I remembered, and was working on projects that required me to update those skills and refresh the memories and dig those details out of the cobwebs. And I have to say, I went in a little skeptical, and I shouldn't have. I've not been disappointed at all. I've completed 2 courses, and I think tomorrow starts the next one. And I found the material both practical and useful. And I second the others that have said that because of the mix of schools and occupations and life history, I think we learn a lot more than just how-to of the education process. The diversity really brings a flavor to the conversations and the evaluations and the thought process that I didn't truly anticipate being as beneficial as it is. I will also say that I, like the others, have been applying the coursework to my workload, which is really very helpful when you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I was working on an article with some colleagues over the winter break and realized that despite my best effort as a person that's not really terrific with frameworks, that my MEHP work was coming right into my publication work, because suddenly there was a framework in place that was making sense of all these things that we were trying to put forward. And I don't think that would have happened if I hadn't been participating and actively getting educated and working with others that were challenging me again. I think it's incredibly helpful. And the group work, while I remember in college thinking, oh Lord, not another group work, it really is the cornerstone of this in making these lessons really tangible and really helpful. So with that, I'll hand over to Eric.
Thank you, Martha. So it's tough being at the bottom of the list, long list of accolades, but I can echo that they're all very accurate. I think the ones that I really want to stress, April brought up earlier about the ability to speak the language of an educator. I was one of the founding faculty at my particular college of pharmacy, and I look back now, 5 years later, and had I been able to speak the educator language, I can see where perhaps I would have made different choices along this current path. To go along with that, I think the other thing that you may not realize is everything that you learn in this particular program, and again, I know the other fellows have said it, but it all is immediately applicable to work as an educator. Be it, I saw some of the questions in the chat, do you need to be a full-time faculty? You as a health professional, myself as a full-time faculty, I see work on college committees and scholarship, classroom teaching all benefit from the MEHP, but as a clinical preceptor as well, I also see that benefit with my interactions from students coming from things that I've learned through the program. The last thing that I really wanted to stress is that collegial interprofessional learning that occurs in this program. You can see from the list of the fellows, we do all really come from very varied backgrounds, and I believe that it allows for a really interesting classroom dynamic. Even though it is online, you really do get a flavor of all the different disciplines and how we work together not only as health professionals, but also with this common goal as educators. So with that, I'll turn it over to Roy.
Thanks, Eric. So hard to be sixth. I don't know what else there is to say about the program. I am new, so I've been in the MEHP program for 2 semesters, and so am not as far along as a few of the others. And I think after 2 semesters in the program, to me, I had no idea what to expect going into this, and I have kind of taken 2 things away, and I'll give you sort of a philosophic thought, and then one more practical and sort of realistic at the ground level. So I think the 3 things that come up to me about the program, that some of which I expected and others that I didn't. Number one is the MEHP program and really the online community that is used and platform that's used to deliver the education offers an environment that I think is very rewarding in terms of learning from peers. And last semester, amongst medical educators and physicians, there were pharmacy students and teachers, dentistry students and teachers, and so a very broad mix of different educators and different teachers and different perspectives, people inside the United States, outside the United States, doing medical student education, resident education. So the ability to learn from peers has been almost equally rewarding as the ability to learn from the faculty that you've met here and may have seen on the website. In addition to that, I think the environment is very very rich in terms of the opportunities for a learner. The online platform integrates into what I do during the day. I'm in clinic during the day. I'm doing research during the day, and I'm able to dial in at moments that I have free, and then spend more concerted time at night or weekends or time during the day that I have. And so it integrates very well into what I do during the day, and allows me to integrate into what everyone else is doing in a very sort of asynchronous and at times synchronous way. And I expected those 2 things of the program. What I didn't expect is sort of going into this, I had a very ground level understanding of education and teaching and had done a little bit of this beforehand, but had very little of the 10,000-foot view. How do you make a course? How do you make a course that integrates into an entire medical school curriculum? How does one medical school integrate into medical education at an even broader level? And what I think the program does is balance both that 10,000-foot view of education at a theoretical and philosophic and entire community level with the day-to-day things. How do you teach someone today? How do you teach them tomorrow? How do you put 10 people in a room and teach them at the same time? So there's both a balance between kind of the 10,000-foot view and the day-to-day view that I have found very rewarding. And so I think those are the philosophic things that I've gotten out of the program thus far, having only been here for a limited amount of time. At a practical level, over the past semester, I have been involved in flipping one of the courses in neurology, a kind of flipped classroom model, and bringing some some video and media to some of the education that we offer. And I didn't expect how helpful peer feedback was going to be, even in my first class, in making it a better course and having students enjoy it more, and was able to watch that in the students that I teach, and their response to some of the feedback that I had gotten from peers that I was learning with and designing this course with and from. So with that, I will flip the page.
And now we're ready to have additional questions. We've tried to answer some of your questions in the chat room, but we can now take more questions. So if you present questions, we will have the faculty and the students answer those questions for you. Okay, Krista Johansson has asked, she's made her realize how much she would benefit from this degree, but could she apply this degree if she is not a clinician? And who would like to answer this? I'm going to just turn the slide one more so we have the students' names, and faculty could answer too, but let's just start and let April take this first one. April?
Hi, Krista. This is April. So I would say absolutely yes. There are many students or learners in the program who are not in clinical practice, and so it works out perfectly. So sometimes we talk about clinics, sometimes we're talking about learners, sometimes we're talking about basic sciences, depending on who you're working with. So I would say absolutely, and then I'd ask any of the other fellows to chime in if they have more to say.
Hi, this is MJ. I worked in some small groups with MEHP fellows who were not clinicians, PhD nor MDs, and they utilized this degree in just what I saw from their projects into learning how to educate in their work environment with staff or peers to improve maybe their clinical flow or their administrative flow. So it was very beneficial to them in that regard.
This is Martha. I completely support both those responses. I think one of the great advantages in this is not only do you learn how to present and work better in educating others, but you also learn more about your own style and what you bring to the table and what you need to continue to work on. And I think that insight is applicable no matter what kind of work you're doing.
This thing, and I'd like to follow up on all these great comments. And having taught the evidence-based teaching course for several years, we've certainly had students who were not clinicians who really were able to enrich the teaching they did in the basic sciences and in disciplines that would not be considered necessarily clinical. And it was really exciting to see their application of concepts and principles and ideas to teaching whoever the learners were and in whatever setting. So I'm really echoing what our fellows have said in terms of the benefits that you would find even though you might not be in active clinical practice.
And this is Tony. The program is designed for anyone who's in the health profession. So we have public health faculty who are not in clinical practice. They are basically academics teaching in the classroom all the time. So that is, it's common that we have people from those kinds of backgrounds. Shelley has a question. Could we give her examples of the type of assignments that are required? And I'd like, Tom, would you pick that up?
Yes, I'd love to. So I have my phone on mute, so it takes me a second.
That's okay.
So, Shelley, this is Tom. And you'd like an example of the type of assignments that are required. That's a very, very good question and was foremost on my mind before I signed up for the course. It's a little bit difficult to answer because it does depend a little bit on which course you're in, but I can give you a for example. So in the second year well, second or fourth year, depending upon if you're taking one class at a time or two. I took a class where we learned how to develop a degree granting program at our institution. So my project for the entire course, which spanned about 3 months or so, was to develop an advanced fellowship in quality improvement sciences at Lucille Packard. So that says, wow, that seems like a lot. But what happens is each week, the course would have a different segment or a different section of the overall project needed. So at the end of the month or end of the semester, I turned in a huge presentation about how to do this, but in fact, it was broken up every single week over 12 weeks, and so it was practically completed by the time the semester came to a close. And for example, one week might say, hey, this week we want you to do a analysis of your current state and a needs analysis as to why you should pursue this program. Another week might say, we would like you to put together a budget of the required funding for this advanced fellowship. So they go through all the different steps until you come up with a full project. So that would be one response. I'll toss it up to the other fellows because I could go on and on with all sorts of different projects and assignments, but I'll let someone else pitch in so I don't hog the mic.
This is Roy. I'll add just one comment on that. I think that's a very good example of one example of what is done throughout the curriculum. One of the general goals, which kind of gets back to one of the things that I've enjoyed with the MEHP program, is in these courses there is an initial reading or learning activity where you engage the material and then come up with something that is for your course or your curriculum or for your assignment, and then you receive peer feedback on that. So I will receive feedback from 2 or several peers and give feedback on their assignments and their curricula and what they may be doing, which tends to be done for each of the assignments that you have and each of the courses that you have. And again, I think it's one of the very beneficial things of the way it's designed.
Anyone else want to comment? Okay, Paul has asked a question. Brittany's asked a question about how many fellows have graduated the MEHP. We are a very young program, and we actually have had 4 graduates, and we're actually having our first large class graduate this spring. So we will be expecting to graduate approximately 30 students every year going forward. So we're a very young program. Paul asks, can anyone give a rough ballpark estimate of the amount of reading that is assigned per week for courses? And that varies per course, but I'll let the fellows give you a sense of how much time they spend reading. We did say plan on 9 hours for a course, but I'll let Eric start. Eric?
Sure, thank you. I would say that the 9-hour ballpark is pretty accurate, and I think the faculty are pretty conscientious of that. That 9 hours includes reading time as well as time to work on projects, time to work collaboratively with groups depending on the course that you're in, as well as asynchronous discussion and peer review that go on course by course. So exactly how much reading, I think that it will vary by course, but it could be anywhere from a couple of short reports to a couple of chapters. But again, that 9-hour estimate per week is very accurate, I think, in terms of the work that is required of you.
Anyone else want to comment?
This is Martha. I can comment as well. I think I was horrified at the idea of 9 hours, and I think that Roy's and Eric and all the group has said it really will also depend on how interesting you find the content. For somebody who doesn't feel like I have a lot of time, I found myself valuing the readings that the professors provided because they were so spot on with the work that we were doing. I think that's a big difference from when you're in your undergraduate or even some of the graduate programs, that there's very little fluff reading. This is helpful, and therefore it may be more content in some days than you want, but it's so helpful that it doesn't feel that heavy by any means. So what feels like 9 hours can actually go pretty quickly over the course of a week.
Martha, thanks for clarifying that. I will say, that was, again, this is Eric, but really spot on. And I can say that in terms of my own publishing, I've used many of the readings as citations for writing because they're very applicable and very, very informative. So.
This is Ann. Could I just add that the fellows are not sharing the many wonderful articles they discover as they do their work and then share with one another and with the faculty. I'm getting ready to start the evidence-based teaching course, and I'm going back through the discussion boards and just noting many wonderful citations that are mentioned in response to a variety of questions and in the assignments, and trying to capture those and share them with the students coming into this particular semester, because each of you would bring your own perspective, your access to professional journals and other resources that just enrich the readings that we as the faculty might identify.
This is
Thanks,
April.
Ann.
And
go ahead, April.
I was going to say, I'd add to what Ann said, and that's really true, is that the other learners in the program are very motivated and very helpful, and a lot of time bringing extra resources. And then some of the resources that we learn in the program, I'm able to then bring them to the School of Medicine and share them with other faculty. And that's been particularly helpful to, have others learn from what I'm learning in the courses.
Thank you, April. We need examples of capstones that MEHP fellows have done in the past. Right now, as I said, we're a young school, so we just have our beginning capstones. This is Tony, and I can share a couple of the capstones that have taken place and that are taking place. One that was especially interesting was we had two of our fellows who were in the Middle East, practicing in two different countries in the Middle East, joined together and have actually worked on an approach to adapting the AGCME standards for the Middle Eastern culture, and have presented it to their Ministry of Education. And their capstone has actually become the basis for how they're going to proceed in establishing the licensing requirements for physicians in their countries. So that was a really exciting kind of capstone. We had another capstone that was done where one of the fellows literally developed a modification to a residency curriculum that focused on, I'm not going to say this, I won't say the right thing, but it was focusing on infectious disease and how that's addressed in general medicine, and built an entire curriculum that became now a piece of the curriculum within her institution. So that gives you an example of kinds of different things that people are doing. Are any of the current fellows, I think some of you may be working on what your capstones are, if you would like to share what your topics are for Nicole.
So this is MJ. I'm working on a capstone in survey design and development, where we are, we've developed a survey to determine the knowledge, attitudes, and awareness of U.S. medical students in regard to sex and gender in clinical practice and in their current curriculum. And we have we have engaged with 3 national student organizations to distribute our survey to over 35,000 students. And again, we are not assigned, but we have a mentor for our capstone project. And my mentor at our institution is my dean, but my Johns Hopkins preceptor is Dr. John Schatzer, who worked with us in our assessment course. So he networked me with an expert to help design this and to work with me and teach me that next level. So it's just been very fun and helpful and really encouraging to do this project under this program.
Thanks, MJ. Anybody else have one they want to share, or any of the faculty have one they want to share that they know of or they've worked with or supported?
I can pitch in since my capstone's in process right now.
Awesome.
I may have mentioned it briefly already. What I've developed, and this is partly based on one of the classes I took for the MEHP, they offer a mentoring course, which I took this past fall. What I've developed is essentially a package essentially as a consultant to approach a training program, review how the training program sets up its mentorship, and then offer best practices and kind of an algorithm to follow in order to increase their mentorship within the program. We have an annual house staff survey that goes out to all of our trainees. It's IRB approved, of course, and recently gotten back some results that show that significant improvement in the number of mentors in the programs that I consulted with these different programs. So it seems as though there have been some gains in the number of mentors within our institution in the programs I've visited. And so I think this will turn into a really nice paper, which I'll be submitting for my capstone. And it has really been secondary to what I've learned in the course.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Tom. Anyone else have anything they want to add to that one? Okay, Karen has asked a question. How much is this program linked with the neuroeducation certificate in coursework? Could some of these electives be taken in this program as an MEHP fellow? The MEHP is designed, we focus on the core as being critical to the connectedness of our community and the foundation on which we build how we are developing. When we do the electives, there's a lot of flexibility in that, and we can work with you and look at the electives in the other program and see how they might be able to be part of the MEHP. What we try to do in the specialization is design the specialization to actually meet the needs of the individual student. So some of our students are in leadership, some of our students are in research, and some of our students take pieces of both of those. And we're open to thinking of other things that might help advance the career. The thing that we do require is that a student writes a plan that shows how the specific courses that are being requested would fit into that plan. So we would work with you individually to do that. Okay, another question is how the fellows choose between the research and the leadership tracks. And I'm going to ask Martha, would you lead that one to start?
Yeah, I'm happy to. It's really a question of what you want as your focus for your ongoing work. Education and the development and becoming proficient is what I've decided is I want to continue in that education piece. I have some research history with a PhD already, so my focus is really on that education track. I think some of the colleagues that I've worked with who have been in the program who I believe are going on for the research track are focusing on becoming experts in the application and the development of that research. So it's really on where you look and see your future being, and then being able to tailor the coursework and the content to meet those needs. I'm not sure that that's quite articulate enough, but that's how I looked at it when I was going through, and that's actually pretty much what the previous fellow said to me when I was trying to figure out which way to go as well.
Okay, Anyone else want to share?
Krista, I'll add one.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, April.
Oh, this is April. I was just going to say that I felt exactly the same way. So I was very torn. My interest is in leadership, but I felt my research skills were lacking. And so I've actually gone down the research track because I wanted to make those skills better. That's it.
And then this is Roy. I'll add one more potentially unhelpful comment. But Krista, I was in a different boat, so I came into this thinking that knowing that I wanted to do the research track, and that's where my focus has been. And have taken these first two courses, and am sort of falling back towards maybe the leadership track would be a better place to go. And I have a feeling I'll oscillate between those at least 3 or 4 more times before I get there. So the nice thing is you're not pigeonholed into picking one, and I think even when you get there, flexibility is the key with this entire program, not only in the track that you select, but the courses you select and when you do them and how your participation is through each of those courses. So I think that the nice thing is that you bring your perspective and life and experience to the program, and it can really be, and I don't want to overstep, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but really be tailored to what you want to get out of it and what those goals are and maybe what they become while you're in the course.
That's absolutely correct, Roy. That's what we want this to be, because this is a professional degree. Everyone who comes into the program has a professional degree under their belt, and they're really looking to hone the skills that they want to make stronger. And so we see our role as helping all of you choose what's going to help you move in the direction you want to move. So that's really important to us, that there is flexibility and it is designed to help you. Anyone else want to make a comment about that one? Paul has asked how our capstone preceptors committee selected. Are they assigned, selected by a student, or a combination? As students approach the capstone, actually when they're in the Ed Scholarship course, they start thinking about their project and thinking about a possible project advisor. And the project advisor is someone who they select from their home site who can be a resource and a support to them at their home site. In addition, we have a small faculty team who kind of works in supporting all the capstones and connecting the capstones to other resources. And we have the MEHP Curriculum Oversight Committee, which has representation from all the 5 schools that looks at the projects and looks to see if there is a project that might already exist or an expert that might exist that might be able to be supportive of the person doing the capstone. But for the most part, the student selects the project advisor from his or her own institution, and that advisor is submitted, the CV of that advisor is submitted, and the commitment of the advisor is submitted to the program. The program approves that advisor and provides an honorarium for that person to work with the student through the capstone process, in addition to the Hopkins faculty and the Curriculum Oversight Committee members. So I don't know if any students have any comments or any faculty want to make a comment about that. And you might make a comment from the Curriculum Oversight Committee, as Ann serves on that, representing the School of Nursing.
Well, yes, and sorry, Tony. I have an email coming in. I'm hoping I'm answering the question. We're talking about the mentorship and the precepting and other resources for the student. I apologize. I think the Oversight Committee is very thoughtful in considering what faculty we might reach out to assist students when they've identified their capstone project and help them with their ideas. Being from the School of Nursing, I certainly am always delighted to work with the nurses, but I enjoy also working with physicians and others, because I think the nature of the program is such that we have great respect for one another's disciplines and our dedication to excellence in teaching. And so it's really a matter of finding a match with someone who has experience, publications, research, or even a tremendous passion with regard to the topic that the student wants to pursue. And I believe that we guide the students if they are proposing something that might not be a fit with existing faculty. We either find the right faculty member or we help the student refine their topic so that we can provide expert support.
Thank you, Ann. And Bonnie also sits on that oversight committee. Bonnie is also a lead on our leadership track, so she could respond and share a little bit of insight there. Bonnie?
Yeah, we just more or less keep track of the project, make sure it has the right scope, that it meets certain criteria that we've set. And we follow along to make sure, as you start the capstone, to make sure that all of those criteria are being met. And again, it's mainly looking at how the overall goal of the capstone project, that it hopefully it could be something that would be publishable as well. That it's something that you can that really contributes to the overall goals of the whole MEPH program. I hope that makes
Anyone
sense.
else? Thank you, Bonnie. Anyone else have a comment they want to make? Okay, and we have a question from Pam. Do we formally assign mentors? Basically, what we do is we assign a project advisor. The faculty as a whole serve as try to answer questions and provide support and guidance for the fellows in the program. Questions that the fellows have come basically to me, this is Tony, as the major advisor, and then I touch base with the other faculty in the program to see if we can find answers and support or guidance from the entire faculty as students have questions, needs, and issues. So we serve as a team to try to support all of the fellows that are part of the program. And in terms of home institution project advisors, we do have requirements. The requirements are basically that the person CV reflects that he or she is in a position to provide guidance, support, resources, or access to information that will be needed for the particular project that the student has. So that's what we look for. Anything else? I think we've answered all the questions that have come in on our chat line. And I wanted to say to everyone who's part of this program, who's been with us tonight, I want to thank you for joining all of us. I particularly want to thank the faculty and the fellows. I hope those of you who are participating on this webinar realize that they've all done this voluntarily, wanting to share what their experience has been in the program with you. And for that, I'm very grateful and thankful to all of them. We're also grateful that all of you are interested in this program and have tuned in tonight to see what we're all about. If you have additional questions, there is an email and a website at the end of this presentation that Richard will share. And please don't hesitate to get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to answer your questions and provide you any information that will help you as you make your decisions. We are a strong community, we're close-knit, and we support each other, and we are looking for new members to want to become part of this community to work with us as we go forward. And now I'm going to turn it over to Richard to close the session.
Thanks, Tony, and thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. What's on the screen right now is information for the admissions office. We have our email, which is soe.info@ghu.edu, and also our phone number and our fax number and our address. For any reason that you may have questions about anything that you heard tonight or any questions that we weren't able to answer, please feel free to email us or call us at any of those. Also, I just clicked to another slide, and you'll see the MEHP@jhu.edu email account. Also, feel welcome to email any of the faculty or the fellows that you heard speak tonight, and they'll get back to you from that email address. And I just want to say thank you one more time for joining us, and have a great day.